Karen slapped and pushed me because I was ignoring her and not helping.
I am a 18 years old male, born completely deaf and mute. Also, I am partially blind in my left eye. I live with my sister 28F, who had been taking care of me since our parents died. Recently she got married and went on her honeymoon. So I am on my own for a few weeks. This happened yesterday. Usually, whenever I go out I am accompanied by my sister due to my disability. But now, since she is on her honeymoon, I had to go out alone. There was a new supermarket opened in our area, and I needed some items, so decided to go there and grab them. My bad for wearing a red-colored shirt almost similar to the employees working there. But if you look closely, you could see that it was not the uniform. I was at the electronics section looking for some batteries, when I see an old man struggling to get some DVDs at the top shelf. Since I am tall, I helped him. He thanked me I can do lip reading, and went on his way. Then I began looking for the batteries. That's when I felt someone grab my left wrist. I turned around and a woman in her late 40s slapped me. She was speaking something, but I couldn't follow her lips as she spoke too fast. However, I was able to catch some words like you, ignore, job, etc. So, I signed to her that I am deaf. Apparently, this was a wrong move because she became more irate towards the signs. Again she was yelling something but I couldn't catch anything. So I took my notebook and started writing that I am deaf and mute. Before I could finish, she grabbed my notebook and pen and threw them away. Then she slapped me again and pushed me to the ground. Luckily, by this time a store employee came to see what the commotion was about. He saw me on the ground and helped me up. Then he asked me what happened. Before I can sign to him, Karen starts to yell at the employee. I don't know that she said as she was not facing me. After she finished, I signed to employee that I cannot hear or speak. Fortunately, he understood and explained this to the lady. But she is still not convinced. She tries to assault me again, but I moved away. Then I wrote and showed the employee to call the cops on her. The employee nodded and called the cops. Karen tried to run away, but the security caught her. The police arrived in about 10 minutes. They first talked to the employee who explained the situation, about how Karen assaulted me because she mistook me for a store employee. One police officer comes and speaks to me. I understood that he wanted my version of events, so I wrote everything down and showed it to the officer. Then they went to check the CCTV footage. Then came back and asked me if I wanted to press charges. I gladly said yes. Karen was then placed in handcuffs and given a free ride at the back of a police cruiser. The manager then explained to me that Karen thought I worked there and she became angry that I ignored her. She had been standing on my left side, so obviously I couldn't see her. The store manager then offered me a 50% discount on the products. I texted my sister about the events that happened and she was livid. Oh, did I mention that my sister is a lawyer? She told me that she herself will be handling the case and would see to that Karen would get maximum time. Court date is in around 40 days. I will update about it after court. Edit. I noticed many were asking about masks. She was indeed wearing one, but during that encounter she had it on under her chin and not covering the nose or mouth. Also, lawyers in India can represent their family in court as long as they are not directly involved in it and the judge is not a relative to the lawyer.
Kid sick at self-checkout.
Quick note, I am merely the witness in this short story. Cast, me as me. GM equals good mom. SK equals sick kid. RM equals rich man. About 14 years ago now I was working at my local Walmart. Put in charge of watching the self-checkout on a slow day. I will admit that back then I was inexperienced with people and lazy, but my few months there had taught me a lot about how nasty folk can get. GM comes rushing to the self-checkout with SK in her cart. He does not look well and I hear him saying as they come up, I don't feel good mom. I want to go home. GM clearly understands that her kid has become sicker since they came in and is trying to rush to get him home now. She is trying to soothe him while simultaneously fumbling with groceries and bare essentials like soup and boxes of tissues. I know sweetie, I'm sorry, mommy is going as fast as she can. Well, along comes RM. He has on what has to be the most expensive jacket I have ever seen. Full business. Gold watch. Tie. Pricey shoes. Perfect haircut. Fit. Carrying a lot of coffee. Everything about him makes me glad this is self-checkout, because my track record with rich folk treating me bad here is almost 100%. He begins checking out directly across from GM and SK is back facing them. Suddenly SK starts to squirm and look around wildly. Mom, I need the restroom. GM looks up from the checkout and sees SK is not going to make it through her checkout. She practically flies around the cart, picks him up. And he projectile vomits across the self-checkout all over RM's expensive jacket. My jaw drops. It can't be real. As I begin to react, I am watching RM. He drops his coffee and is stunned for a moment, when something I was not ready for happens. He turns around, quickly removing the jacket, dumps it on the floor and walks quickly over to GM and SK, kneeling, because they are now on the ground, GM comforting her crying child with her eyes practically begging for mercy at this point. RM, is he okay? I walk up with towels, already on the radio for cleanup, and hand him one. He uses it to help clean up GM. GM, he might have the stomach flu, I just needed to pick up some things to take care of him. I'm so sorry. RM, it's okay. Let's get him cleaned up. GM seems to finally really see the man and how he is dressed for the first time, and what happened to him. Oh my god. Do you work here? RM, wiping vomit off her back while I start on the floor. No ma'am. Just a dad myself. Hate to see a kid not feeling well. GM was so embarrassed that she didn't really speak again other than a meager thank you as we finished cleaning up, and RM helped her finish checking out personally. I helped him put his certainly ruined jacket in a garbage bag to take home, and he checked out as well. I asked him if there was anything else I could do for him, and RM politely declined and left the store. I will never forget how that man reacted that day. For all his obvious wealth, he was his last priority at that moment, even as a victim himself. He didn't complain about the mess, or that he might get the kid's flu, or his ruined jacket, nothing. And he certainly did more to help than me, the actual employee. I took this lesson to heart for all future interactions with people, and it has made a tremendous difference as I became a father myself. Thanks for reading. Edit, I posted this in the morning after I started seeing these stories, mostly about terrible folk, of course, on YouTube, thinking that not all of these are a negative thing, and the world is in a tough enough place as it is right now. I remember this story very well and decided to share. Since I posted from my phone, I came back to correct any mistakes I had made, like typos and grammar. I found 3. I am so extremely happy to see this has had a positive impact on so many people. I could not have imagined so many upvotes and views. More than anything, seeing comments about those who have had an emotional reaction to this brings tears to my eyes, in the best way possible. It has, sincerely, made me feel better in these tough times for my kids' future. Thank you, all.
The owner of my work pulled the "I don't work here" lady on a customer.
So I used to work at a bar. The owner was an ass, but he great to work for. He was a super alcoholic and a great tipper. He had been permanently banned from every other bar in town, which was why he bought the bar. He had a policy that if he was drinking, he wasn't the owner, so if he got out of hand we could throw him out but not 86 or call the cops on him. Now I also would like to add that all he did was sign the checks. He had nothing to do otherwise with the day-to-day of the bar other than drinking. One morning I was opening the bar, and typically the doors are unlocked an hour before we opened, so regulars could come in and drink. They knew the bartender would be cleaning and stocking the bar and would just deal with small wait times to get a drink or refill. The owner came in and didn't want to wait for me to come out of the back, so he went behind the bar and made himself a drink. He then went and sat at the bar, put money on a rubber mat. When I came out of the back with a few cases of beer, I hear a woman going off on someone who I found out was the guy who signs my checks. She was going off about how horrible he was for drinking on the job and refusing to make her a drink. He simply told her he didn't work there and went back to his drink. When she saw me, she immediately started complaining about him, saying she wanted to speak to the owner or manager. Since I was the only one there, I told her she'd have to deal with me. She went on her tirade about him needing to be fired and then demanded a free drink for his rudeness and unwillingness to help her. I told her that wasn't going to happen as he didn't work there. Then she decided to take it up a notch and said she knew the owner. Cute typical "you'll both be fired" rant, and the owner is shaking his head laughing, which made her madder. I called her bluff and told her to either shut up and order a drink or leave because I have things to do. She got huffy and then demanded a tab, trying to hand me a credit card. I informed her we were cash only, but she was welcome to go pull money out of the ATM near the bathroom. That didn't make her happy, so she decided to stomp out of the bar, saying she'd take her business elsewhere. The owner then asked for my keys and promptly locked the door behind her. As soon as he did that, he came back and said, "I've never met that woman, so you're definitely not fired." We had a good laugh. She did come back about 20 minutes later because there wasn't another bar open, and got super pissed when my boss waved and went back to his drink. She banged on the door for about 5 minutes. He then made me a sign to put up on the glass door with the bar hours, and she got in her car and sped off. I luckily never saw her again.
None of us worked there.
Okay, this is maybe not the right place to post this, but it is jolly. And I can assure you that none of these ladies or me worked in these stores. I am teaching myself to cook because it calms me. But I'm not familiar with many ingredients, so I stand looking puzzled at things on the shelves. When the pupil is ready, the master appears. Me, tall paunchy white guy? I'm kneeling on the floor at our local K. Roger looking at what is called a country ham in these parts. Like an American prosciutto, but not as delicious. A big haunch/butt of pork, wrapped in burlap. $35 and up. Why they store them on the floor, IDK. I hear a woman's voice behind me, "What do you want with that country ham for?" I turned around and a little African American lady was talking to me. Big voice for a little lady. I was going to reply for Thanksgiving, but not missing a beat she said you got to boil that in Coca-Cola all night to get the salt out. This was so nice I smiled and said I did not know that. And thanked her. She said, "You don't want that country ham." And she went on her way. I have never cooked a country ham and I will never will. Another store, another year. I'm learning to cook Thai now. I am at the aisle with coconut milk cans. Like 75 different sizes and brands from different countries. WTF? Isn't it all the same? A tiny Asian woman leans past me and taps one specific brand, starts with a CH, doesn't say a word, and leaves. I pick one up, buy it, take it home, cook with it, and it's great. Better than what you get in restaurants, moderately priced. And as an added bonus, it comes in a small size too, perfect for two-person cooking. We keep buying it, it's good. A third store, another year, an Oriental Mega Mart. Tofu aisle. I knew nothing about tofu. Every time I tried to cook it, it turned into a sloppy, unappetizing mess. So I'm looking at some firm. What does that even mean? Tofu. Turning it over and shaking it, listening to it slosh around. Another Asian lady walks up to me and says to me, "You need to pour boiling water over tofu." Keeps it firm, looking at my face to see if I understood. I said I never heard that before. Thank you. And now I cut perfect cubes of tofu every time. These are the anti-Karens. I love that they're out there.
Some girls mistook my dad as their Uber driver.
This happened years ago when I was still in university. My dad was picking me up from my college, and he brought my little brother with him who sat in the back. He stopped near my school gym. Keep in mind that my dad was never an Uber driver. He didn't have the Uber logo on his car. He saw me walking toward him, so he unlocked the car door. Then suddenly, these two girls approached his car and started to open the back door. My dad with his limited English yelled at them because he thought they were trying to snatch my brother. These two girls was quite embarrassed and scared because an older man was yelling at them with an unknown language. I basically had to rush over to explain the situation for both parties. I guess this should be a lesson for all people. Please check the license plate of your Uber car before you open the door.
May your day be filled with joy and happiness. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe for more quality content every day.